The biggest impact of TikTok not being available in the US will be the reduction in the amount of Americans fighting to make the United States a better place for Americans and demanding the freedoms and human rights that are just considered normal in other developed countries. The problem is that the US media market is so insular that, unlike other developed countries, Americans don't see what's happening in the outside world as much as people in other countries do, just simply because America is such a big place with so many media options that media companies don't need to go to another country to buy TV programs and, more importantly, news. They don't need to buy the hours of content from foreign countries that people in that other countries do. So Americans just don't see as much information from the outside world. Now, when it comes to things like healthcare freedom or the freedom to have an appropriate work-life balance or family time, those are things that are considered human rights now in other countries. When you've got a new mother who's 6 weeks after having a cesarean section needs to go back to work and it forces her stitches to rip, that's not uncommon, but it doesn't happen as much in other countries because generally people don't go back to work 6 weeks after having a baby. And when an American mother sees that on TikTok that if they lived in any other developed nation, they would have been able to stay at home for another 3 months, year on top of what they had off and be paid for it, it makes them want change. And people in their family and lots of people they know will want change when they see what happens as well. But there's a reason why Americans work such long hours. There's a reason why Americans will be working until they're 70 before they're allowed to retire. That may happen in other countries too, but the difference is that people in other countries, 70 other countries, have a minimum of 6 weeks of paid leave a year. And that means that people in those countries get to basically retire for 6 weeks a year. They may take a 2-week holiday and a couple of 1-week holidays and then take some time off here and there. Or they may just take time off to relax. They may not go anywhere, but they get to relax like somebody does when they retire. And that is considered normal in every other developed nation. And the things like healthcare freedom, Americans don't know how relaxing it is. You can change jobs, not have to worry about filling in paperwork. In fact, you can go to the hospital, you don't have to fill in paperwork. They've got your details. You simply don't need to fill in. There is so much paperwork freedom in other countries. Tax returns, you don't have to do tax returns. And in so many other countries, if you have one employer, you do not need to fill in a tax return because they already have your information, just like the American government already has anyway. But they even worked it out that you don't even have to do a tax return for your charities or your kids. They just build the whole tax system around making it easier. You remember how the Republicans wanted to reduce the amount of people in the US government that look after tax? Well, you can do that in other countries easy. Just make tax returns simpler. And then you won't need to employ so many people to make tax returns so hard. But obviously, the bribery within the American political system is why you need to do tax returns. That's the type of thing that would make people in any other country riot, is needing to do tax returns. And because of that, those simple things, those simple pieces of knowledge are the things that make people want to fight to make their country better. They want to make America a better place when they see that type of thing, and it's TikTok that shows it. And yeah, it'd be a shame if it goes. Not for me, because I'm not in the US. But it would severely impact the amount of Americans fighting to make America a better place.